Oh, it's Men in Blazers Euro 2000&Copa on Vice Sports. Brought to you by a new friend, Volpe Foods. And amazing. They do a lot of beef jerky, which I think is the taste of democracy and freedom. They're also the official protein proud partner of US soccer. I can imagine just before the players go on, they're just there in the locker room. They're thinking about the game ahead. And the last thing they do before they take the field is get hold of the mozzarella and spicy salami stick, which looks like something that Jurgi Love would find very interesting to probe in game. Oh, wow. Can I just tell you, Volpe food, good Volpe, says Jurgen, the beef jerky of champions. Volpe does sound like a player Jurgen would like to play to replace Jermaine with some quality beef jerky on Tuesday night. Welcome to the morning after the night before. Bring on Argentina. Bring on Copa Fevers. Aaron Dessner of The National. I've got some high-level equipment. Can we go to camera 2, please? There we go. Oh, there you go. That was a Sigur Rós cover of several of their songs.
With respect.
But with great respect and reverence by Aaron, and by me also, actually, to be quite candid. I never mess around with those gentlemen, particularly because there's a 7 in 10 chance they're going to come on the show. God, you know him as the Nationals' Aaron Dessner. I know him as the high school captain, tasty midfielder, the Riquelme of Cincinnati in the 1990s. Go Cincinnati Country Day Indians.
To really excel.
Yeah, I thought you had actually stealth pace in the game film that I've been watching and scouting. You're also a huge Liverpool fan. Watching Daniel Sturridge angrily doing his little dance, rather angrily. That must have made you a happy man.
I had a premonition watching him on the edge of the box, and just first of all, I was excited by Lallana all during the game.
You'll take your pleasure where you can find it.
Secretly rooting for Wales the whole time. But yeah, it was tremendous. The highlights, other than Kyle Walker,
yeah,
Lallana and Sturridge.
Our playmaker Kyle Walker, Martin Skirtle.
Martin Skirtle.
Soon to leave you, but he looks like the kind of guy where I faced by thousands of Russian hooligans armed with GoPros.
You would want Martin Skirtle.
And I was like, God said, I will allow you one man to defend you. I'd take Skirtle and I'd fancy our chances.
Him or Pepe, we'll get to that later.
We will get to that. That's called a trailer. That's foreshadowing for a future conversation. Can I say, why are we talking about a little team like Roy Hodgson's England when we can talk about the global powerhouse that is Jurgen Klinsmann's USA?
That is true.
Volpe Foods powered USA, may I say. We lived a game last night that was very, let me look for poetry to describe it. We expected something better than before. We expected something more. And we got it last night.
It's true. It's one of those moments where you keep waiting for the shoe to drop, and it doesn't drop.
It doesn't drop.
And you're kind of like, whoa, okay.
Can I say, we finished taping last night at 2 a.m. I had to get up this morning at 6 a.m.
Why wasn't I invited? That sounds...
Oh, it was a fantastic evening. It genuinely was a fantastic, great night. As a man that arrived in America, there he is. Clint, very good of you to be a guest on the show. As a man who arrived in America in 1993.
Biggest Liverpool miss right here.
That is so true. He was so close. And God, how history would have been different.
Tottenham underrated.
Yeah, he heard that being Liverpool was going to be made that off-season. He said, I don't fancy any part of that. And off he went to Tottenham. We will chat about that in a second. But I am fascinated. I arrived in 1993. I think last night, the first 45 minutes were some of the most dominant, wonderful, intelligent football in that there were passing patterns. There was attempts to enforce will on opponents, quite good opponents. But I woke up this morning at 6 a.m. I woke up and I turned around to my wife and I said, my first words when you're in that state between sleep and wake, and I've still got my neck tattoo, I can't get this bloody thing off. I had a meeting this morning with some very important people, very important. I sound like Donald Trump, very important people. And I sat there with my neck tattoo out. It was very, it was very good for deal making. Deal making. I woke up. And I said to my wife, I just mumbled to her, I said, I had the greatest dream last night. And she said, what? Did you dream about Bradley Guzan again? Because I dream about him a lot. And I thought it was a dream. I thought I dreamt it, but we didn't dream it. Where did you experience the game?
I was supposed to be mixing new songs for the National in my new studio upstate New York, and instead I was illegally streaming the game in front of a computer monitor, and a good stream.
Yeah. Do you know what happens when you do? Do we have Alexi Lallis's album anywhere here, Lex? Where is it? Yeah, when you watch football and you're trying to mix your new album, I think we've got an advanced copy of what the next national album is going to sound like. A classic from the early 90s.
If our album sucks, blame the U.S. men's national team.
Yeah, no, that doesn't suck. This is one of the... I just think life forms, we're not highly evolved enough to really appreciate this. It's going to take...
I've never heard it. I got to hear it.
I'm going to give this to you.
I'm
going to give this to you. It is an amazing album. He's got a new album out right now. It's called Shots. It's on iTunes. Go on. So you're mixing your new album, illegally bringing in Rob Stone, Alexi Lallis.
Only illegally because I was too far from the house. And it was exciting. So I eventually switched to headphones because it turned all the music off.
Yeah.
And I'd watched a bunch of games that day. Basically, I'm trying to make music, but there's too many tournaments.
You've got the fever.
Yeah,
You've got the fever. We are living the morning after the night before. Not really the morning. Not really the morning at all, but still absolutely in nipple-tingling mode after last night's game. And I'm trying to think through. I'm really trying to compute what we saw last night. I've kind of distilled the game, Aaron, down to 5 points. I want to discuss with you 5 points of wonder. And I'll say, the first thing that excites me about last night's win is that the USA, they won in 2 different ways last night. I mean, that first 45 minutes, they played good football.
Yep.
We were chatting about St. Bobby Wood.
He's got huge potential. I'm worried about next game.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. I'd say Bobby Wood, intelligent, challenging runs.
Yeah.
Drawing defenders, creating space, a cocksure fighter, Clint Dempsey from Nacogdoches, Texas, fancying his chances. I mean, you were trying to describe him what kind of a style of play that gentleman brings to the table.
I've been sort of watching him for so long that you feel like he's going to make the most of the smallest window, and it's like very rare that he disappoints. If there's a tiny little window of opportunity, he makes the most with. He's not the greatest player or athlete or anything, but he's kind of my favorite player for a long time, just because he's always consistently makes a difference.
He does, and he's got that striker mentality where if there's players around him from his own team, he ain't passing it to you. He trusts himself and himself first, second, and third. It's paid off for the US in this tournament. There's a midfield that won't be intimidated, and a defence that are beginning to believe that they can resist all comers, all in the name of a victory forged in the collective, every player covering for each other. And then the second way they won during the 45th to the 90th minute was in the dark arts era when Ecuador tried to intimidate the Americans. And I've got to say, other American sides would have wilted. Aaron, this was a team that showed they're not going to back down.
Yeah, they seem to have the self-confidence to resist the kind of desperate, barrage, the blitzkrieg at the end or something. It's just when...
That was a third way, which was called crapping our pants. America meets squeaky bum time, squeaky bum time, meet America. But in that, when it got to blows, when the elbows were starting to flail, when the feet were being left in, Jordan Ramirez tweeted us 2 red cards, 2 wins, coincidence? I think not. Yeah. And the reality is, after the game, Jurgen, God love him, he's a very creative man, Jurgen, he said, Jermaine Jones' red card was a joke, which it wasn't. I mean, what it was a seasoned pro.
I didn't see if there was really contact. It seemed like it was just a...
It annoyed. What was it? Do it again on me. Yeah, and I'd grab that side of my face if I was a foot. The reality is Jermaine is a seasoned footballer. And I think what he saw, to me, I mean, I'm annoyed that he actually didn't he may as well have just decked the other guy.
Smart.
He may as well have just decked the other guy. But I think he kind of just turned around and said, "You think that's a knife?" He said that in German. "You think that's a knife? This is knife."
I would not mess with that guy.
I wouldn't mess with you. This is knife. And he did. He just leveled it. Well, he didn't really level him. In my imagination, he did. And he said, Ecuador, you think you're going to intimidate us? I am crazier than you will ever be. And then we had the awful last 5 minutes, which seemed to take longer than Arya Stark's time in the Faceless Men's Temple. It was just everlasting, and it was excruciating. Brad Guzan. God, we love Brad Guzan. He is my hair hero. He made that spasming save, that taser. Oh, don't taser me, bro, save. Which was just unbelievable. At Vike61 said, how nervous was I in the last 5 minutes? You could not pull a pin out of my ass with a tractor, which I think pretty well describes
A beautiful metaphor.
every
Thank
American.
You
You are a
that.
poet. Act 61. Point 2. We praised Jurgen Klinsmann's stable status quo that he has tried to foster in this group stage. Same selection, same selection, same selection. Well, it's now shattered because the next game, let's put it positively, it's going to be a true test of the depth of this squad.
It's true. So, good news, Yedlin's back.
Good news, DeAndre's back in town.
Turn on the afterburners.
Yeah. You're the bad news, everybody else is not able to play.
The enforcer. We have no Jermaine, no
Yeah,
Bobby Wood,
prison
no
rules.
Bedoya.
Jermaine Jones, prison rules is out. St. Bobby Wood, it's going to be hard to replace that intelligent running, that ceaseless patience. Ale Bedoya we were talking about the other day.
Yeah, he's. I hope he's not the third dimension, like the kind of X Factor.
Yeah.
The secret key to everything.
He
But
was. That whole time, it was all Ali Bedoya that was holding it all together. Yesterday,
Could
can
be.
I just say, a lot of guys don't like watching Bedoya. I have to tell you, if I am Matt Besler, not the fastest on that left flank, and everybody is running at me, you saw the shift
Yeah.
that Bedoya was running in to cover, to make everyone around him look unbelievably good. They're all going to be big misses. The big question, who on our team now is going to punch someone wildly, inexplicably in German?
Who's coming in?
Yeah, who's going to do that? Who's going to run intelligently, ceaselessly in the channels, the top quality striker that we've yearned for? And who's going to do the quiet work in the dark, the grinding work?
Yeah.
We do not know. We know that probably KB5, can we get camera 2 for a second? KB5 is going to leave Lexi, who
Yeah.
he's looked over Lexi's shoulder faithfully as a faithful servant, like she's Cersei and he's Sir Robert Strong. He's going to leave the panic room and he's going to charge forward and he's going to take the field. Jurgen is going to say, KB5, or as he calls him, KB5. He's going to say, get on that field and just punch somebody. You will be my next red card masterstroke. I have a dark fear that it'll be Zuzi instead of Bobby Wood, which makes me feel a bit worried. One day makes me feel even darker. I'd love to see Darlington Nagbe out there. I'd love to see Christian Pulisic not
I
have
was
to
just
just
going to
wave
say,
the towel.
bring out the youngster.
Yeah, you'd like that.
Yeah, little ingenuity.
Yeah, you would have loved to play with
Hungry.
him back in the Cincinnati days.
If I was like 100 times as good, but yeah.
Yeah. I honestly think Jurgen would rather play himself and Timber Joey, who he's taken from Seattle, field them than Vision Questers, Darlington Nagbe and Christian Pulisic. I say, cometh the hour, cometh the men. There's also the possibility that Fabian could be moved, or even DeAndre could be moved into midfield. We will see. We have plenty of time to worry about Jurgen's next move. And we'll say, whoever takes the field, I think they'll take the field with complete belief. And most important, I'm trying to be positive. I really am trying to be incredibly positive. And most important,
This guy's still there.
yeah, this guy's still there. And this guy, the guy I've fallen in love with, is still there. He looks like a younger me. Roger's son, Brad Guzan. He could be my son. There's so many guys who are there. We may field this guy. Not a bad idea. Still waiting for that elusive first cap. But I will say the most important thing, Michael Bradley, Jeff Cameron, John Brooks. John Brooks
was some clear. I mean, although that one moment where he nearly hit the woodwork,
He
but
meant it. He knew Bradley
he
Guzan
made
had
some
it. Spasming Bradley.
He made some great plays. So.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
You know what a golem is. When I see John
A
Brooks,
golem, yeah, I do.
When I see John Brooks, I think of a golem that's just always there.
A biblical hero.
Yeah, biblical hero, always protecting us when the darkness is upon us.
Yeah.
But we have that spine. And yes, Bradley Guzan, who's the symbol of this team to me, an athlete who has struggled, but who's found his form and his confidence that's given to him by, yes, we like to think of him Aries, the Mad King. But the honest truth is, he gave Bradley Guzan all of his confidence, Klinsmann haters. And that spine, Guzan, your two centre-backs, into Michael Bradley and beyond, we still have them taking the field. And when we have them, we have a chance. Bring on Argentina. I'm so bullish. Point 3.
You're assuming it's going to be Argentina. 100%.
You know, I may or may not have read the script to the Copa, because the Copa does run to script. Here's the Copa script, which is have Mexico be like a boy band touring friendly arenas, just pump them through. The only other team that gives a crap, apart from Mexico and the US, is Argentina. All the others, and I know Americans don't like to hear this now, we're in the semi-final. Suddenly everyone's like, it's a serious tournament. It's not a kind of fabricated. It's not really the Copa. It's the Copa America Centenario. I know it's a serious tournament. It is somewhat fabricated. But my third point that you love, because you've got him there, is just Clint bloody beautiful Dempsey. What a man.
Still going.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
33. How does that happen that you have a second? I don't understand second wins. I've never had my first win, so it's quite hard to me.
It's a very personal thing for me. I feel like Clint Dempsey, my wife is Danish and her dad is got Denmark. People in Denmark love Liverpool, and there was a strong rumor that after Tottenham he was going to be bought by Liverpool, and when it didn't happen, and I love seeing him in Seattle, but it was a big kind of kerfuffle in the family when he didn't go, and now that he's playing so well again for the team, for the U.S. team, I'm kind of like, he still got it.
It's amazing, mate. It is amazing. Can I just apologise to all Portland fans for my Timber Joey faux pas? I was thinking about the Pacific Northwest. I'm a very simple man. What I do know is that Clint Dempsey is an East Texas pugilist. And what I love about him, he spent 6 years battling naysayers, battling demons in the Premier League, the greasy pole, as Disraeli would have called it, climbing up it. At Spurs, he stumbled and then fled. And what I can say is American footballers have an identity when they play abroad. It gives them that extra swagger. When they've done, and he dominated the hat-tricks for Fulham, the goals that came so easy, the swagger. Seattle is an amazing club. It's an amazing club on the world stage in that Seattle has a true brand identity, an incredible fan base, a fantastic team. But I think it's an adjustment for an American player to go from being a Premier League global stage player to an MLS, big-time MLS player and a big-time team. But it is an adjustment. And to me, this is the tournament, watching him over the past 10 days, 3 goals, I think 1 assist. This is the tournament where he's kind of made peace with who he is and what he is, a sniper who always fancies his chances. He's now the top scorer in the tournament, along with 2 lesser players. One, Philippe Coutinho, you'd agree with me. The other, a gentleman called Lionel Messi, a spokesperson for Supercuts. He's got 52 international goals. He's 5
He's
behind.
what, 5 behind
Landon. Yeah, 5 behind Landon.
Yeah.
52 ahead of me and you. He's going to be in the squad in 2018.
I'll tell you, as someone who travels the world playing music and encounters football fans from all over the world, he's the one. Clint comes up time and again in a show of respect. They like a lot of English.
Do they know him as a
folks.
footballer or as a hip hop artist in the music circles?
It's like a it's evenly split, but it's amazing to see the respect.
3
for him.
assists. Don't tread. So it's 3 goals.
I was going to say, I was going to correct you. I knew
would
that.
you? Correct me. And I'll say, don't tread as
3 goals and 3 assists.
3
and I was
assists.
more impressed with the assist yesterday, although the goal was amazing.
I actually think the ball was possibly going in, and Jossie's Ardes, he just made sure he's got that incredible first touch. 2018, by then, I do believe Clint will be known as America's greatest ever footballer. Number 4, 2 more. This was such a big night for American soccer. I've got to say, its enormity to me cannot be underestimated. I'm going to say it again. The Copa is an amazing tournament. That was last year, and in 3 years' time, this is the Copa America Centenario. And
what does that even mean?
I don't
100
know.
years?
I tell you what it means. It means that they saw America and they're like, we can make money off Americans. Let's forge a new cup, shove it up there, invite some of their type, the CONCACAF type.
It's very confusing on social media. That's a problem.
It's very confusing. It's a bit of a Mickey Mouse Cup. I know we don't like to talk about it like that because Mickey Mouse is cool. in some parts. And also, now we're in the semi-final, we like to build it up. But it's still massive that they won this game, because in future tournaments, the semi-final, God love, I actually think they could win this game, whoever they play, Venezuela or Argentina. But the big thing about this to me is not about the Copa America Centenario. It's more about the muscle memory that it generates for future tournaments when they are in tournaments that are perhaps a little more legitimate than the Copa America Centenario. They can draw muscle memory and remember that they can win big games in big moments against great teams. And Ecuador are a very good footballing team, and you draw, as a football program, you draw confidence. To me, what last night, and this is why I was so thrilled, watching with Lexi, watching with J-Dubs, watching with our team, I felt like we were all invited to American soccer's bar mitzvah. We watched the night that American soccer became a man.
Here's to that.
Ah, l'chaim. Final man, talking about bar mitzvahs, the greatest bar mitzvah DJ of all time. Good, Josie. Good. Jurgen Klinsmann. May 20. Do that again. Was that some Wagner? Were you playing Wagner on
Yeah,
that?
it was the 4-tone scale. 12-tone, 4-tone.
That's Jurgen's theme song. You know what? After this, Jurgen should have buglers marching behind him, announcing his arrival in every region.
I caught a moment at the end of the game where there was vindication.
When did you see that, and how did you? I'm interested.
He almost looked like he couldn't handle it. He looked humble, but also vindicated. It was a nice moment.
By vindicated, you mean arrogant. He looked humble and arrogant, and he come
it wasn't a Jurgen Klopp breaking his glasses, moment, but it was somewhere in between.
I mean, what's amazing about him, he did something I've never seen before on the eve of an international tournament. He said, this is May 24th, he said, semi-final is our goal. And I'm trying to now reconjure the emotions I felt, to be candid with you. And I know a lot of you at home had your own emotions, because you've emailed us, you've tweeted us with your emotions. Some of you said, when he said semi-final, I said, hell yeah! And I love you. I love you people. I do love you people. America, you don't know about losing.
Shouldn't I be the one with the flag?
We got flags too. But the Americans don't know about losing. English people, Lexi always tells me, losing is the purview of English human beings. Americans don't know how to lose. When Jurgen said, we're going to make the semi-final, some of you went, hell yeah. Many of you who know a lot about football were like, what is he doing? That no international manager says that. I felt like he was building a scaffold on which
Hail Mary. He's the Doug Flutie of
He's a better looking, taller Doug Flutie. He probably would have been Jurgen would have been a fantastic quarterback. He would have been a fantastic quarterback. Probably would have been able to see over his offensive line for starters. But the reality is, no one does that. And then it was kind of doubled down by Sunil Gulati, a very political and shrewd operator who clearly had taken the temperature of the players, the other...
focus groups.
Yeah, and announced, maybe we'll review Jurgen's position and maybe the Jurgen tenure will come to an end. Jurgen has walked through... You know what? I think about Khaleesi. When everything was dark, the fires were burning, Jurgen somehow has found dragon eggs and is walking out his beautiful odd windbreaker T-shirt combos burnt off. He's standing there naked and tiny little dragons. And now he's a breaker of chains. I adore him. And I've got to say, we laughed when he said semi-final. We did laugh. But he's called it like Babe Ruth, to be candid, like a Teutonic Babe Ruth, pointing that baseball bat at the bleachers and then hitting a home run. I mean, Jurgen Klinsmann was hanging off Mount Rushmore, I think north by northwest, and Sunil Gulati was standing on the hand that was holding him and cackling as he did so. And instead, he's managed to pull himself back up and is now in power again, probably negotiating a hefty pay rise and a title change until the World Cup. What do you think of how do you see Jurgen?
It's interesting because when he was a dominant player, that's when I was playing in high school, and our coach used to get these VHS or Beta Max tapes and play us highlights.
Here's Jurgen.
And I always he wasn't the kind of player actually that I was obsessed with, or he wasn't like a playmaker or someone that had like amazing
like crazy frosted blonde hair.
But I don't know. I've been when he didn't bring Landon to the World Cup, I was like, that was a big moment where I was, whoa, really? But then this tournament and seeing how they're playing and what's happening, I don't know. I think he's
turning
he's
into
having his moment.
He's turning into fairy tales with glitter and some glue. Everything we ever planned to do. What I've realised this tournament, he promised something no coach promises, which is every coach is under promise, over deliver. Jurgen's done he's just not a normal coach. Jurgen is not a normal coach. He is our coach. He is going to be the coach for World Cup 2018. The US will face Argentina or Venezuela, God bless them, in the Copa America semi-finals on Tuesday in Houston, Texas, as close to a home game.
I was in Houston a few days ago. Crazy weather, obviously. I hope it's going better down there. It's going to be hot. So
It's going to be. Do you know who likes it when it's hot?
That's true.
That guy.
I trust he will.
You know what's so weird? Not that the Copa America Centenario is a Mickey Mouse tournament, but the US will have 48 hours more rest than whomever they play. A huge advantage. Well done, Copa, for making the rules up.
I feel bad about that.
Crap
It's
as you go along.
Unfair advantage as usual.
I know, it's fantastic, but Volpe is the official protein supplier of... Oh, God, I can't get enough of this crap. That is...
Theme song.
Yeah, I've got to tell you, Clint, I know you're watching, and I know a crazy rhyme is coming into your head. I see a combo. I'd love you guys to get into the
that
studio.
would make my
Do you have a message for him?
life. Come, Clint, come
Into the
collaborate.
studio.
I have a full studio.
He does.
I own a drum machine.
He does, and he also has a full-size football pitch which he's built.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
It's true,
perfect
actually.
combo. The crossover, both of you crossing over, will be unbelievable. We will be on live on Tuesday, before, during, and afterwards on Vice Sports. I've got to say, this is the magic day when the Copa is up here. I've got to say, the Euros, this was a day when it was kind of down here. It's been a bit dark. We're going to blow through the games, starting with Italy 1, Sweden 1. You don't need me to tell you this. It was in Toulouse, America. Euro 2016, the home for late goals. Like an NBA game, you only actually need to tune in for the last few minutes. Paul Carr blew our mind. 20 games thus far at Euro 2016. All of them, apart from the one we've just seen, which was a blowout. Thank you, Spain. The teams have been within a goal after 85 minutes, which is somewhat shocking. Slightly match fix. A huge number of goals after 80 minutes. 7 goals, I believe, that have won the thing after 90 minutes. In this one, massive goal for Italy, an even bigger one properly for Ireland. Eder, a man who completed 0 passes in the first half and would have been yanked off by any normal manager, sprung to life at the last, charged through 3 defenders, lashed the ball home like a Brazilian Italian Riyad Mahrez. Italy through to the knockout round. Well done, Antonio Conte. Sweden, 2 games, 0 shots on goal. The US have as many shots on goal in the Euros as Sweden do. What do you think of Zlatan, Aaron? I've got to ask you this. As a musician where a lot of music is about hype and kind of positioning, how do you analyse Zlatan?
He's hard to like. He's hard to love. He's hard to appreciate. I don't know. I would say he's the Arnold Schwarzenegger of soccer, except I like Arnold Schwarzenegger more, a lot more.
Than Zlatan? You don't like the bombast, the self-mythologizing?
He's like I don't know. I mean, no offense, Zlatan. I'm sure you're a good guy. But
in the music realm, who is the musical Zlatan?
I don't know. He's like, I'm better than you.
He's the Tony Loke,
he's the I'm
is
better
what you're
than
telling
you.
me. He's the Tony Loke of music. I do find, I'm watching him in the Euros where he's recorded exactly 0 shots on goal, had no impact. Darlington Nagbe has had as much impact on the Copas as Zlatan has on the Euros. He made a boast in 2014 before the World Cup when Sweden didn't qualify. He said, the World Cup without me is not a World Cup, it's useless. That statement is currently under total review. And I find it fascinating. He's looking more and more Manchester United and not in a good way. Croatia 2, Czech Republic 0. Yes, America, in St. Etienne. Tournaments. Croatia 2, Czech Republic 2. You know, I wrote that when there were still 15 minutes to go. Thank you.
The battle of the midfielders.
This is the battle of the midfielders. Started off with the perfect midfield. the Croatian midfield, 2 fine finishes by 2 Ivans, Perisic and Rakitic. Felt like job done. They're like Luka Modric, Lady Edith, get off the field. Croatia cruising, but then the game flipped. I mean, Czech Republic scored one completely out of nowhere, and then there was that crazy bit of geopolitics spilling onto the old Euros once more.
Yeah, it's a scary world right now.
It is a scary world, and we've seen that football ultimately is just a refraction of the world that surrounds it. It's a little bit dark. 14 flares landed on the field, and the game stopped. Very much like a Liverpool game where the fans walk out.
That was one time.
Yeah, it was one time. This is the third time for Croatia fans who actually banned during the process for drawing a swastika on their own field to embarrass their own football association. And the game started again, and inexorably the Czech Republic got a tie. Croatia was shocked, as was I. The flares, I'll just say this, the lack of security at Euro 2016 is truly terrifying.
Yeah, how do they get the flares in?
And what else could get into that game as I pick up my Volpe? Oh, our protein snack of the US. Spain, Turkey, Stade de Nice. We just watched that game together. Thank God you're a fascinating man, because I was a little bored watching this game. This was like watching one man step on the throat of another.
I was pulling from every angle. We had literary and real estate, and what else were we talking about?
Trying to sell me property, which I may buy in the Hudson Valley area. Yeah. I mean, fascinating game in that so many teams in this tournament. Germany wobbled. England not able to enforce themselves. Belgium, a cataclysm. But Spain, you'd say in golf, they're the leader in the clubhouse. We know they don't concede goals. We thought they weren't goal machines. They scraped a 1-0 win against the Czech Republic in their first game. Turkey tried to man the barricades in a rabid kind of fashion. But my lord, the poetic ball floated across from Nolito, probably one of my favourite named footballers of all time, found the head of Morata, who computed time, space, angles, physics exquisitely. Corner of the goal. And I'll just say this, I watched Euro 2012. I followed Spain around. They used it as an audition for a series of strikers, mostly Negredo and Llorente. Ditched both of them and went false 9 with Cesc Fabregas and still won the thing. Spain with a semi-confident striker, and in this one, and what was fascinating, Jordi Alba, when it was 2-0, could have scored himself, but set up Morata again to get that guy firing. Spain with a semi-confident striker. I mean, you have to say that is the team of form in this tournament so far, other than Iceland.
It does feel like they've got it back. And Morata, he seems confident, but they, with Iniesta playing so well, it's, they're the team to beat.
Thank God Clint Dempsey was born in Nacogdoches, Texas, and not in Pamplona, Spain, or they would be unstoppable. They can now rest their starters for the third game. I just say English fans, this is true, who look at Wayne Rooney and try and urge with their best heart that he's a great midfielder. You just have to look at what Iniesta did in this game and just see what a truly great midfielder actually does. I did find it fascinating, and this is another dark part of this Euros, just the snide, kind of bitter undertone which is starting to project through every game. The Turkish fans, who are very distressed by their team, by their football association, by the state of the game in Turkey, they turned on Turan, who I thought actually tried his hardest from the off to enforce himself. They started to boo every touch, which led the Spanish fans to cheer every touch. Yeah. And you had this bizarre kind of pantomime.
And he's obviously doing his best. It's a strange, reality.
Not everyone can be an Ali Bedoya quality Turkey. Look and learn at the United States of America. Thank God we got some good football tonight, some Copa. We've got Peru and Colombia. We've got here Lexi has designed herself. You would think this was designed by computer, but actually Lexi has drawn this beautiful. You've got incredible handwriting. Here's our bracket.
Now I know this incredible graphic design, where it comes from.
It's true. It's beautiful, and it's handwritten. You wouldn't know it. It looks like it's done by a perfectly fonted. Tim Cook himself worked out how to compute this. Can you imagine? He's sick of doing Apple Watches. Let me help the men in blazers with a graphic presentation. Yeah, you should have presented this at the old Apple.
The dawn of television.
It it is. Here's how. By the way, spoiler alert, if you don't want to know how the quarters go down in El Copa, we already know. As of last night, your champion USA already through to their semi-final. We predict using very important computations, complex wheels within wheels, aka chicken wings. They say Argentina are going to beat Venezuela. In this one, we filled in Chile, mostly because we were trying to buck the trend of the obvious team, trying to be mildly provocative to
No
Mexico
Chicharito, we got
fans.
Sanchez.
Yeah, we actually do think Mexico are going to win. We're just
I
trying to
think
goad and be
Chicharito sells
provocative.
more tickets, though.
He does. This is a hot take. This is Jason. What's his name? Jason Whitlock told us to write Chile. We're following the Jason Whitlock playbook, and now we're going to find out Peru and Colombia. And this is Zip's last day with the chicken wing. Zips is leaving us. Zips, come and show your face on screen one last time.
Kelly-
Zips is leaving us.
Oh, where are you going?
We fired him. The chicken wings have been cold 2 days on the run, and I don't know. Do we have standards?
I
No,
saw
we don't have
Kelly
standards.
last night looked a little suspicious of these.
Kelly O'Hara, God love her.
I'm less circumspect,
She
but
whispered while she was about to eat them. She goes, "Are these going to make me sick?" I mean, this is a woman trying to get into
only
Olympics,
for
and she's still letting
24
them.
hours.
She said they're fantastic. Here we are. We're going to talk about the Peru game. Bite in. Peru, controversial slayers of Brazil. The handball goal of Rui Diaz facing... Oh, they're fantastic to watch. They really are. Facing Colombia. James.
James Rodriguez. Who
I
is
got
amazing.
I can't hear you. Come here. Oh, Lex wanted me to say Union Bar and Kitchen across the road in the crap part of Soho. We're trying to build an industry, an economy around our...
You're trying to shift everything west. I like it.
We are. But right now, the only business that is doing well is if David was here, he'd say this is the Metal Look across the road.
Sorry.
That's okay. Those are fantastic chicken wings. They speak the truth. Right now, I'm synapsing. I'm about to speak in tongues. What do your chicken wings tell you about this game?
It's a tough one for me because I like both countries
Yeah.
equally.
Yeah.
And I know more about Colombia. But somehow
Have
Peru...
you played that? How
no,
big are the national in Colombia and Peru?
We've been invited there many times, and we need to come, so we're coming.
To neither country? You've never been to either country?
No. We've never been invited to play in Peru, but we want to come. We have been invited to play in Colombia. We should go.
Oh, I love Colombia.
And yeah, I think, but Peru somehow, I know some Peruvians in Hudson and gotten to know them, and I feel like Peru.
You do. Peru are going to say... Here's what I'd say about this game. Our friend Daniel Alarcon, the novelist who's Peruvian...
1-0, like the Brazil game, right?
That's what I'm thinking. He said to me today, he said, my wife is Colombian. This fixture, as a Peruvian, is always a bit tense. He said, I dressed our 3-year-old today in a Peru jersey and then lied to my wife and told him that our son chose it himself, which I can totally relate to and I adore. And for that reason alone, I think that again tonight, we're going to see Guerrero. He's going to, some controversial way, he's going to score a goal. I think he's going to somehow kind of project the ball out of his anus over the ball line for a first in international football. That's how it's going to go down. I believe Peru are going to do it. Let me pit this. Oh, beauty up. Oh, J-Dubs, you're doing stallion work today. That is it. That is the story. We've got a huge amount of football this weekend.
How do we keep up with it? We can't sleep.
Well, none of it is going to...
Lagavulin.
Lagavulin, who are not a...
Or Patron.
Not a protein supplier to the US team. I'll say none of the football involves the mighty US of A, which actually disappoints me. I cannot wait for Tuesday. Where are you going to watch the game?
I think I'll be either in Reykjavik or in Copenhagen.
Yeah, how big... You're going to find out how big the Copa is.
That's always like... That's why... I apologize for the illegal streaming, but all fairness, I end up in these like places where they don't carry certain games. Although they should carry
like
it
the
over
Hudson
there.
Valley.
Yeah. So you have to resort to any means possible to see this guy.
Can I just say two quick things? The Day of the Dead is one of my favorite albums of the summer. It's 6 hours long. And when I'm preparing my work for these shows, which normally takes me 7 hours, I listen to the whole thing straight through, and I'm incredibly grateful to you for your work. I feel certain about that album Go and listen to it. Go and buy it. I feel absolutely
All for
certain.
charity.
I'm a negative human being. I'm a dark human being. I only fear the worst. I've got to tell you, for Tuesday, I feel nothing but glory. If only I can get this neck tattoo off.
I think you should keep it.
You do.
I think you should
I'm
let
actually
it
thinking about getting it
fade
permanently.
gracefully.
I had a meeting today that I told you it was some very important people.
I think they were impressed or scared.
I think they were mildly
Scared
terrified.
and impressed.
It was not the sweet, soft Rog as advertised when I turned up with that. It is what it is. Life is good. Have a great weekend, America. And we say to you, courage.
Courage.